the fight itself is still far more interesting and more worthy of talking about, because it was a really interesting fight. I mean, at first glance, I'm sure you've looked back at it a few times at this stage, but at first glance, certainly it was Conor McGregor's worst nightmare come to life in every respect.
Yeah, and it's a shame that we're talking about the extracurricular activities and not the actual fight, which I thought was, a very good fight. I thought it was a great performance by Khabib Nurmagomedov. I also thought that McGregor had his opportunities, and I thought he did a good job, a better job than many people have in defending some of Khabib's takedowns, a better job of, he beat Khabib in one round, in the third round, which no one had even done before, so he won the one round. I thought he had chances in that round, the third. But overall, I thought it was a good fight, and if it would have just ended there, if it would have just ended with Khabib putting on, which it really wasn't a choke, it was a face crank or a neck crank. It wasn't really under the chin. It was more of a crank, which is kind of like an old school wrestling move. If it would have just ended there, I think that would have been that should have been the story, right? That should have been what everyone was talking about. But unfortunately, now what happened after the fight after the fight is what people are really harping on about.
Yeah. Getting back to the fight, though, for a second. So, I mean, when McGregor was on the ground, particularly in rounds 1 and 2, he took a lot of punishment in the second round. You're saying he withstood some of that pressure reasonably well. I saw Chris Fields was on our morning show here talking about how he used the butterfly defence on the ground, which is quite taxing physically. I mean, McGregor did look a bit gassed as the fight went on. He's both trying to conserve energy on the ground and also withstand what's going on from Khabib. So talk to us a little bit about those exchanges on the ground.
Right, exactly. You could see in the first round, it was Khabib didn't do a whole lot of offense from the top, but he had McGregor down, and McGregor was trying to conserve that energy, so he didn't use too much. You can't really explode out of those situations, especially that early in the fight, because this could be a 5-round fight, and it could be going deep in there, and he needs his gas tank for the whole duration. So I thought he did a good job conserving in the first round. The second round is when Khabib really poured it on with ground and pound, but to his credit, McGregor was able to kind of withstand that, and almost, he was covering up for a lot of those Khabib blows, and I think in his mind he was thinking, I'm hoping this guy gasses out now. But that was a very one-sided round for Khabib, and then it almost kind of played into McGregor's hands a bit in the third round, where I think Khabib was a bit tired. I think he was trying to conserve his energy, and the third round was spent almost entirely on the feet, and that's where McGregor had a good round, but he didn't land what could have been the knockout blow and didn't really do any major damage in that third round, which could have swung the fight. In the fourth round, it was just back to that wrestling game, and Khabib can do that for 20 rounds. I mean, he's just been doing that his entire life. And even on a lower gas tank, Khabib is still just an oppressive wrestler, oppressive pressure.
Yeah, and certainly one of the points we raised in our chat last week about the advantage that the grappler has is that, McGregor at the start of the second was anticipating another takedown, and Khabib sort of drops down and then throws the right over the top, and it catches McGregor flush, and then he gets him down again in that round anyway. So, that was really kind of a perfect exhibition of what McGregor was up against. But certainly on the commentary, I was watching Joe Rogan and his buddies. In the third round, they had felt that maybe, just maybe, Rogan, in fairness, was still saying that he felt McGregor was absolutely gassed. But the others were maybe arguing that McGregor had withstood Khabib on the ground. Khabib had maybe punched himself out a little bit in the second, and McGregor now was coming into the fight and things were going okay. I must say, I never felt like that. It never felt like McGregor was in control at any stage, or that he had any choice in what happened in the first 2 rounds. But certainly in the third, Khabib did look a bit gassed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we've seen this before in McGregor fights. We saw it at UFC 189 against Chad Mendes, where Mendes was able to take him down and impose his will, but Mendes gassed out, and McGregor was able to get back to his feet, and he finished it in short order. We've also seen McGregor gain a second wind in fights, like in the second Nate Diaz fight at UFC 202, where he lost the third round and came back to win the fourth in a very impressive performance. He gutted out the fourth, and that was actually what sealed the fight for him. So we've seen him come back from being tired before and get those second wins, and it happened in the third round, but it just didn't happen enough. He just didn't have enough to get that kill shot or get any kind of blow that did sustain damage to Khabib, and the fourth round was pretty much it.
And I wonder why that was, Marc. Because if you said to McGregor, you're going to get this third round, you're going to get this chance to land the killer punch, McGregor would have thought, okay, maybe I can live with that. Maybe if you'd offered him those first 3 rounds beforehand and say you're going to get through the first 2, it will be no fun, but you'll get that 3rd round. Did Khabib maybe surprise him in how he was able to go toe-to-toe?
I think it was a combination of McGregor. He was already a bit tired.
Yeah.
He was also, I mean, he constantly had the idea of the takedown in his head.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a question of him not being able to fully commit to those punches because he knows the shot is coming in. He knows the double leg or the clinch against the cage is coming. So maybe he was not able to kind of put full force into those punches. And also he's probably thinking, well, this is the 3rd round. This could go 5, and he can't go all out in the 3rd.
Yeah.
It's there's a million different things that it could be, but that was kind of, if you want to pinpoint a place in the fight where, okay, this is where McGregor has that window, he has that opportunity, it was that 3rd round.